Yeah, we actually recently did a listening session with several youth. And I can speak a little bit. I mean, some of them are very similar, but one of the cohorts that we worked with was a group of adolescent moms. And so some of the things that we heard were, very similar to what was said. But I think on top of the challenges that they already had, I think one of the biggest challenge was supporting their children during school, being that school is, um, you know, distant learning right now. And so, um, I think there's the assumption that youth know what they're doing. They should know how to distant learn at home. But, they're having a hard time with it too. And so then having parents then support them through that has been very challenging. What we heard across, several youth is that there's a lot more needs for mental health services. A lot of therapists are booked. A lot of therapy sessions had to be canceled. And so we had a youth who stated that, his therapy session had to be canceled. And he said, well, that's what helped me with my anxiety. And now I don't know what to do. And so really the need for more support, I think there's a lot of lack of motivation. And like Sarai said, um, they're not seeing their family members. It's just like their immediate family. And, although they didn't like going to school, they learned that, going to school was very supportive for them. They sought the support from their teachers, from their classmates, and now they don't have that support. And so they even stated that their friendships weren't the same. Um, I think another thing is, and I think it was mentioned before too, is it's so much harder to seek resources. And, I wouldn't say simple, but like, the resources that people were able to find easily before are challenging now to find. They don't know what organization is doing what. Before that, before prior to COVID, we were out in the communities, organizations were out in the communities, we were doing work, we were interacting. And so because that's not happening, it's hard. Many youth or students that you talk to, they don't know why there's a police officer at their school. Their belief is that they're there to just break up fights, arrest people that are ditching school, or, who are smoking weed in the bathroom. But their title is school resource officer. So if you need a resource, you're supposed to go to them for that support, for the community resources. But they're not doing that. And so, if a student is in an unhealthy relationship, they will not go to this person to seek support. If the person, the abuser is making them uncomfortable in school, that's not the first person they're going to go to. And so school resource officers, I can't say all of them, but, um, sometimes I feel like they're more there to increase the school to prison pipeline, and not necessarily supporting some of the students, because the students see them as, just a police officer, not as a, somebody to seek resources. One of the things that we're working towards is creating a policies within the schools around like student to student sexual assault, or abuse. There's a lot of policies about, teachers abusing the students or having a sexual relationship with them, sexual relationship with them. But there isn't any policies, with, I think, the idea that there's an assumption that it doesn't happen, assaults between student to student. And so that's something that we are currently in the process of working with. of working towards is helping, one of the school districts here in Minnesota, creating those policies within their school districts, because that's the student to student, sexual assault or like the unhealthy behaviors, or relationships does happen.
Really good point. Really good point about getting the schools involved so that our young men and women are involved in the conversation from the get-go, and we can work on it as they're younger, and just create different expectations for them to seek resources and also for their own behavior.